Ahoy there, shipmates. It be me, Captain Nash, coming to you from the captain's cabin, and we're going to bring you a little bit of fun history hints today. So, but before we begin with our history hints, don't forget to hit our subscribe button just down there, shipmates, to subscribe to get all new videos and new content from the captain's cabin. So, who are we going to be looking at today, shipmates? Well, a very interesting pirate today. We'll be looking at Captain William Kidd. He's famous for lots of different things, and we're going to go through three of his main stories which link to Captain Kidd. So, when was Captain Kidd born? 1645, Dundee, Scotland. Yes, he was a Scottish pirate. Well, at first his career wasn't a pirate, he was actually first a privateer, in which a privateer is given a letter from the English government, from the crown, from the king, William III, and he was sent out to hunt down merchant ships of French and the Dutch. Now these two countries were at war with England and have been sort of disgruntled enemies and not very nice business partners ever since. But that's another story. So, with that, Captain Kidd went out hunting. He was very good at it. For the first 4 or 5 years, he was very good at hunting down the ships. But an incident happened, which was a very dark tale for William Kidd's career. Is that one fine morning he spied a Dutch man-of-war, laid up, unprotected, unguarded. Easy pickings for the gun crew. His master gunner, William Moore, tried to persuade Kidd, we can attack. Irrelevant of the surprises on our side, we can overwhelm and take the ship before they have a chance to open their gun ports and open fire. Kidd refused. With that, Moore called him a coward. Instantly, William Kidd, his rage got the better of him. He picked up the nearest object, which was an iron-hooped barrel, and he smashed it over his head. Some say it was a barrel, some say it was a bucket. But the more tales that it might have been even a bucket that crashed over poor Moore's head. Be it barrel or bucket, it happened the same. Poor Moore crashed to the floor of the deck of the ship, dead. And with that, they cleared his body and placed it to one side for a funeral later at sea, in which they did so. And, William Kidd has a couple of other interesting traits. He is the only pirate that we know of that buried his treasure. And this is a small illustration here of what we think it may have looked like with Captain Kidd overseeing his men burying the treasure. It's very weird for a pirate to bury his treasure, because back then in the articles which pirates would sign, that every man would have a share of the treasure. So if he's burying that, is that just his share? Possibly. But why did he bury his treasure? Well, he buried it because he wanted to come back to it later. He didn't want to spend it all, but he wanted to have somewhere safe and secure, and he actually buried it on an island just outside of New York, called Gardiner's Island. And with that, it was buried and made safe. And he went to Boston to meet up with some friends. Some very high-class friends, but it was a trap. He was then arrested in Boston, was sent back to London for trial. The main reason for the trial was not for piracy, was for the murder of William Moore. But it does state that there was 5 accounts of piracy also on the documentation. But it was mainly for the murder of Moore, not quite for piracy, because the government sort of had their hand in the pocket there, had their hand in the cookie jar as well as Kidd. So, what happened to Kidd's treasure? Is it still buried out there on Gulliver's Island? Gardener's Island. Unfortunately not, shipmates, so don't go grabbing your picks and your shovels and going up to that poor island and trying to dig it up. The government actually recovered the treasure and was actually used as evidence in Kidd's trial. Funny enough, it never got seen again after the trial. It sort of disappeared. I'll leave you to think about what happened to that one. What could have happened to it? Because we don't know. That treasure sort of disappears off the government record. So, poor William Kidd. He's had his money stolen by the government, which he stole it for in the first place. But that was his personal pot. And now he's been sentenced to hang by the neck until death. So on the 23rd of May 1701, he was taken to Execution Dock in Wapping, London, on the Thames. Now, a big good crowd had been gathered around to watch this execution, because Kidd's stories filled London. His trial filled the streets of London with stories, with fame, and everyone wanted to get a glimpse of this rogue of the English, this Scottish rogue. And they did get a good glimpse of him. High on the scaffold, the drum beating, the rope put around the neck. Then he was pushed off the scaffold. As he was pushed off, the executioner hadn't secured the rope at the top, and the rope had snapped as it got taut. And as he crashes down onto the floor, poor Kidd has suffered to have broken his ankle on hitting the ground. With that, he was given a chair to sit on and a glass of beer, while the executioner was frantically looking around for a new rope, and which they did find a new rope, tied a new knot, and they brought Kidd back onto the scaffold for his second chance. Once again, the drum beats, the knot is put around his neck, and he's pushed off the scaffold again. This time the rope holds and snaps poor Kidd's neck. And with that brings the end of Captain Kidd. But not quite. Even after death, he has a small legend. What they did was they had an iron cage made to fit Kidd inside. This iron cage was called a gibbet, and it was taken out from the entrance of the Thames River. And his body was covered in pitch and put inside and left, as you can see here. This was a grisly reminder and a warning to other pirates. And with that brings our little video to the end, shipmates. We hope you've enjoyed us. These little history hints coming to you from the Captain's Cabin with your host, me, Captain Nash. So, we hope to see you out there in the high cyber sea, shipmates, for more of these fun videos coming to you on our YouTube channel. So, also shipmates, to keep these videos coming, please have a look down below in the link below. We have our PayPal scheme, which you can donate $1 doubloon, or in your money, £1, to help keep these videos coming to you over the high cyber seas. So, take care shipmates. This is Captain Nash from the Captain's Den. Have a good day now, and stay safe.